Sorry for that, so please, Alex, have some time.
So please think quick that you find something to resolve me from being here. What I want to talk about is non-technical problems that you might get with voting computers or election computers. So there were some readings where people talked about all the technical problems that might happen and that will happen and that are difficult or not solvable. But when I heard the first time of election computers, I thought I got this nightmare of I'm in this election booth and I look on this colorful window screen and I see those parties there, and well, actually, I just have those maybe in a village 2 buttons, maybe somewhere in a city like Berlin there might be 10, or also if it's for the federal government election some more. But then there are those buttons and a button for submit. So maybe I see those buttons and maybe I just want to press submit with no one, and then comes a pop-up, oh, you made some mistake, you have to vote someone or make too much. So the thing which I think it's might be a big problem if it's not implemented, that you can't make an invalid vote. So the other thing is, with this, if you have this piece of paper, you can also communicate to somebody with it. So if you're fed up by this vote, for what reason ever, there are various reasons why you don't want to vote somebody. So, for example, if you're in a small village and there's this, in Germany you have this, the CDU, the Christians, and the SPD, and they're also, you know, if they are in the village, what they do is, some farmer, he has land, and he says, oh, this land is for building houses, and he wants it to be land for building houses, and they make the thing to each other that there will be houses, and he gets a lot of money off the land, and you don't want to vote for anyone like this. So you try to avoid your election, your voice. And then another reason is there are people who oppose the system of voting, but they also don't want to stay at home and say, they don't want to be like, all those people are not political. So you want to go to the election and say, I'm political, but I don't agree with the whole system which is running here. So I lived in the, or I grew up in the area of Helmut Kohl, and actually, the election was 2 weeks before I got 18, so I was not allowed to vote. But anyway, we got a change. Then we had this red-green government, and nothing changed. Even for the thing with nuclear power, they got confirmation to continue, which they didn't have even before. And so I figured out this old anarchist proverb is true, that if an election would change anything, it would be illegal. But I think elections are still there's still a place where you can communicate something. Also, I could say, so this all annoys me so much, I don't want to go there. But for example, in Luxembourg, I don't know if it's yet like this, but it used to be, that it's not the right to go to the election. You had the duty to go to the election, so the standard fine was 6 weeks in prison for not going to the elections. So imagine you have an election computer, you have to vote for somebody because somebody forgot or didn't want to implement that you make a void election, and so you're forced by law to vote somebody you don't want. And well, so if you, I don't know where you all come from, but if you get maybe if you get to such a situation, maybe something you could do would be maybe, and you can also do it without voting computers, making, for example, a party which is called nonsense or none of the above or stuff like that, for example. So then you can make when there's an election, you can make posters in the streets and say that it's the election itself is garbage, and also or any kind of political statement, and you can give back people the opportunity to void their election sheet. What you cannot do is if you don't want to go to the elections or to vote for someone with a piece of paper. The nice thing is I make my X at the right place as taking the piece of paper and making the X, or I can put an A on it and make a circle around it, and so at least the person who's counting the sheets will read it. And I've heard from people who did the job that they read a lot of stuff on those sheets for the election, and well, those people are not politically uninterested, so this is, I think, another thing which it's worth for it to fight against election computers. So I hope you found some topic to talk about. I'm finished. You have a question? Yeah. Take the microphone, please.
People are watching, so they would probably want to hear a question.
My question is related to how do you convince people that electronic voting is somehow stealing their rights from the paper ballot system. In Belgium there is an association called Pour Eva, which is for ethic automated system. Basically the position is very simple, is that the electronic voting system doesn't give the same rights as the paper ballot system. The only compromise they have found is to have a paper ballot system counted automatically by a laser pointed machine, and that's I think that's the only good compromise you can find between pure electronic voting and paper ballot system. So I wanted to have your impression on that.
Well, maybe this kind of scanner will have problems if you write anything on the sheet, but maybe you won't notice. That might be a problem. So this would be I think it's a duty of local groups, or to found local groups to work on that. So I don't think there will be a big organization that will stop any kind of political trouble somewhere. It's just the people themselves that have to organize. We have seen it with free software, like it's possible to organize. So in my opinion, for example, with this voting system and all this stuff, we had this, in former times you had this system with religion and the order which was wished by God and stuff like that, and that got replaced by the voting system. So to make people believe that they are themselves who decided that things are like they are, but they aren't. Nothing changes if you vote. I think also in where you come from, if you come from Belgium, you have to make a group. You have to get your ideas to work on the specific problems which appear, like they saying how to make their voting computer system. So you have to react on that. I can't give any global thing. Also, this whole thing, what I'm talking about here, is quite spontaneous. So I'm just here, saw the readings about the voting computers, and actually I'm also Congress hopping. So greetings from the Jugend-Umwelt Congress, which takes place in Königs Wusterhausen near Berlin.
Cheers. So anybody who came up with something to say, why don't you come on up here and form a little line. I'm going to take the liberty of going first, if that's all right. So two things. First of all, I just wanted to say that this has been an excellent Congress, and I think one of the reasons that it's been an excellent Congress is that you know, my impression is that it's the most international Congress I've seen so far. And being an American, that's something special for me to see at a HackerCon. I'd really like to say that having these events be multinational has been a very eye-opening experience for me, and I think probably a good thing for everyone. And on that note, I'd like to remind, or to announce maybe, it's my understanding that for the first time, at least in recent history, the CCC camp will probably not be on the same day as DEF CON. Which is, thank goodness we can play together, right? So with any luck, we can organize, you know, troops of people to come to both events, and just, you know, to mark that on your calendars now. That in the beginning of August next year, there's going to be two very, very big hacker events, and if you can find a way to make it to both of them, we can make it the biggest event, you know, ever. It could be tens of thousands of people getting together. So that's my... The date for DEF CON has been announced. I believe it is going to be the first weekend in August. The date for the camp has not been announced, but we're working together, and they don't want to have it on the same day as DEF CON. So it'll probably either be a week before or a week after, something like that. So I don't want to announce any data I don't have specific numbers for, but just so you're aware, they'll be close together, and they'll be around that time of the year. Thanks.
Well, actually, somewhere I've seen the date. I think in the opening of this Congress, Tim announced the camp to be on something like August 9th to 14th. I'm not quite sure about this now.
They might announce it at the closing ceremonies, with any luck.
Yes, probably would have to, so watch closely at the closing ceremony about the dates of the CCC camp. And if you have any event to announce or whatever, please come up stage. Dan, how about you?
Nothing exciting. Hi, Mom. Happy birthday.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Anything else? I mean, it could be really anything. Announcing your pet project, your latest shell alias, anything.
All right. Well, you ready?
Besides, I'm offline here now. Something turned me off 10
Oh,
minutes
no.
ago. So maybe if it was you, then please at least give me a clue how you did it.
No, I didn't do this. Well, I don't know if anyone is still interested in this, but I just thought I give a quick advertising plug of Psych. I don't know, has anyone here heard of Psych or PsychSpace? And I've heard a lot about XMPP and Jabber on this conference, and I found Psyched actually to be quite interesting. It can bridge IRC networks, Jabber multi-user chat, and Jabber network together, and it has another protocol called Psych, and you can find more about it on psych.eu and psych.org and psych.us, and it is a really interesting protocol because, unlike Jabber, it has actually some sophisticated broadcasting of packets. For example, if you have hundreds of contacts on jabber.ccc, if it was a Psych server-to-server protocol, you could just send one single presence from your Jabber server, Psych server, to CCC, but Jabber actually sends 100 for each user one. And I'm not actually a developer. I'm not doing anything with Psych except using it, but you can find Perl libraries, and there's even a Node-Java library, and you can well, I think you can actually do all the fancy stuff you can do with Jabber. You can also do it with Psych. And there's currently another new implementation of Psych going on called PPP, and it is written in Pike, and it's really interesting because the code is absolutely clean, because you have a great level of inheritance, and you don't need any XEPs. You can just transparently enhance the protocol.